In Magic the Gathering, the Jeskai are a group of warrior monks. Among the clans of Tarkir, they represent the color combination of blue, red, and white. This means they are disciplined, focused, intelligent, and mystical, but the red mana also gives them passion and ferocity. In many ways, they are the perfect warriors. Today we're going to explore how to play one of these in Dungeons & Dragons. Hi everyone, and welcome to another contemplative episode of
The Dungeon Crashers.
I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapil. Before we get started, remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our excellent D&D content. Today we are doing a request for Thialdo Carvalho. Thialdo watched our Selesnya video and commented that he would like to do a build based on the Jeskai from the clans of Tarkir. Unlike Ravnica, there isn't a Tarkir setting yet for Dungeons & Dragons, but that won't be a problem. The clans are very well developed and have a unique character. The Jeskai are considered the wisest of the clans and use the symbol of the dragon's eye to represent their vision and insight. Their warriors are mostly exclusively monks, and we are going to continue with that. Regular viewers will notice that we did a monk last build, so we apologize for doing 2 in a row, but we couldn't just do a Jeskai build otherwise. The Jeskai includes a number of Ifrit in their ranks. There isn't a playable Ifrit in 5th edition, but the Fire Genasi are close enough for our purpose, and we are going to use that from the monsters of the multiverse. Fire Genasis are humanoid and can be medium or small sized, and we are going to be medium. Their walking speed is 30 feet, and they have dark vision out to 60 feet. As Genasi, we are descended from the Ifrit from the elemental plane of fire and get certain abilities. They have resistance to fire damage. They can begin play knowing the Produce Flame cantrip, and at 3rd level, they learn the Burning Hand spell and can cast it once per day without expending a spell slot, and can cast it with any spell slots that we have. At 5th level, we learn Flame Blade and can cast it in the same way. They can choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma as their casting stat for this, and we are going to choose Wisdom. They begin play speaking Common and one language of our choice. We are taking Ignan, which is the dialect of the Primordial that is spoken by creatures of the Elemental of Fire. Fire Genasi get the ability scores Common and Monsters of the Multiverse, which is 3+1 bonuses that we can put wherever you want, but no more than 2 in the same ability. Using the point buy system, we put an 8 on Strength. We would like this to be higher, but this is the only stat we really don't need. We are putting a 15 on Dexterity, making it 16 with one of our bonuses. This is going to be primarily a caster, but is not going to be a slouch in melee, and needs Dexterity both for attacks and armor class. We put a 14 on Constitution. Being melee also means we need good hit points. We put a 10 on Intelligence. For roleplay reasons, more would be great, but we really don't need it. We put a 14 on Wisdom, making it 16 with our remaining 2 bonus points. This is going to be our casting stat, and as a monk, it will help with our armor class and power our monk abilities. Lastly, we put a 10 on Charisma. We can't afford more, but less doesn't seem right for this character.
And as we said before, there isn't a Tarkir setting for D&D, so there isn't an official Jeskai background, like there was for Ravnica, so we're going to make our own. It grants proficiency with religion and perception skills. The Jeskai are more spiritual than religious, but they have a great deal of history and lore around their beliefs, and religion will represent this. They are also meditative and in tune with the world around them, and the perception skill will represent this. Also, as Jeskai are scholars, they gain proficiency with calligraphy supplies. They also have the feature of the sage background, which gives you knowledge of where to look or who you need to talk to in order to gain scholarly information. At 1st level, we begin our training as a monk of our clan, meditating to empower our spirit and practicing the arts of warfare, to discipline our bodies and to harness the ferocity that is part of the Jeskai nature, and to control the passions that come from our Ifriti ancestry. 1st level monks gain martial arts. They are proficient with unarmed strikes, and their unarmed strikes deal 1d4 damage, which will improve as they gain monk levels. They may use their dexterity instead of strength when using unarmed strikes or monk weapons. Monk weapons are simple weapons and short swords, which monks are proficient with. Also, after taking the attack action with an unarmed strike or monk weapon, they may make an attack with an unarmed strike as a bonus action. In addition to proficiency with their monk weapons, they also gain proficiency with strength and dexterity saves and one type of artisan's tool or musical instrument of their choice. Appropriate choices could be painter's supplies, a flute or a lyre, or perhaps something scholarly like alchemist supplies or tinker's tools. Monks also get unarmored defense, which lets them calculate their armor class as 10 plus their wisdom and dexterity modifier when not wearing armor or using a shield. Our weapon of choice will be a spear. As we don't use a shield, we can make use of the versatile property and wield it two-handed in order to get the 1d8 damage. We don't need a ranged weapon as we have the Produce Flame cantrip. However, we can use darts if we want. With our dexterity modifier added, they will deal slightly more damage on average, at least until our cantrips improve. But throwing fire suits our nature.
Yeah.
At second level, our meditations has led us to form a bond with the three fires that give strength to Jeskai. The blue mist fire that brings wisdom, the white soul fire that brings discipline, and the red blood fire that gives us strength. Our connection to the fire manifests as power, and we take first level Cleric of the light domain. This domain grants us knowledge of the light cantrip, and an ability called Warding Flare that lets us use our reaction when attacked by a creature within 30 feet to cause bright light to flash at them, giving them disadvantage on the attack roll. We can use this ability a number of times equal to our wisdom modifier, and it cannot affect creatures that aren't affected by blindness. Clerics also gain spellcasting and know 3 cantrips from the cleric list, and we want Sacred Flame, Word of Radiance, and Guidance, which represent the 3 fires of the Jeskai. We are prepared casters and can prepare a number of spells equal to our cleric level plus our wisdom modifier. We want spells of protection, divination, and attack spells that feature light or fire. Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, Shield of Faith, and Detect Magic are all good choices. Clerics are ritual casters, so they can use Detect Magic without using a spell slot by performing a 10-minute ritual. We also get the spells Burning Hands and Fairy Fire granted to us by the light domain, and they are always prepared and don't count against the number of spells we can prepare.
At third level, we return to our martial arts studies and can join our clan in battle. Through the training, we become second level monk. Second level monks gain unarmored movement, increasing our walking speed by 10 feet when not wearing armor. They also gain key points, which represent their spiritual discipline. They have a number of these equal to their monk level and can use them in a variety of effects. They can use Step of the Wind, which allows them to dash or disengage as a bonus action, and double their jump distance until their next turn. They can use Flurry of Blows, which lets them make 2 unarmored strikes as a bonus action whenever they take the attack action. Unlike the bonus attack for martial arts, Flurry of Blows doesn't require us to take an attack action with an unarmed strike or monk weapon, and they can also use Patient Defense, allowing them to dodge as a bonus action. In last week's video, we discussed a lot of strategy about how best to make use of these abilities, and we will put a link to that video at the end of this video if you would like to take a look at it. At fourth level, our martial training and meditation combine to give us particularly strong connection to blood fire, empowering us with fire magic beyond even what our Freak heritage bestows on us. We become third level of monk and begin practicing the way of the 4 elements. We learn the martial technique that draws on elemental power, and we choose Fangs of the Fire Snake. It allows us to spend 1 key point when taking the attack action to increase our reach of our unarmed attacks by 10 feet for the rest of the turn, and our unarmed attacks deal fire damage instead of bludgeoning damage. We can also spend an additional key point when the attack hits to cause the attack to deal an additional 1d10 of fire damage. Third level monks also gain Deflect Missiles, allowing them to use their reaction when attacked by a ranged weapon to reduce the damage from the attack by 1d10 plus their monk level and dexterity modifier, and if they reduce the damage to 0, they may throw the weapon back as if it were a monk weapon with the ranged property. At 5th level, we continue our martial training, becoming 4th level of monk, and gaining an ability score improvement or feat, and we want to increase our dexterity to 18. Also, as mentioned above, 5th level Genasi gain Flame Blade spell, and they can cast it with their spell slots and cast it once per long rest without expending a spell slot. We don't yet have 2nd level spell slots to cast it with, but a once-a-day use will still be powerful, creating a Scimitar of Fire that makes melee attacks dealing 3d6 fire damage. The Scimitar is not a monk weapon, so it will not give us the bonus action attack for martial arts, and it doesn't use the attack action, so we can't use Flurry of Blows with it. It is, however, a strong attack and can often be more useful than taking the attack action. 4th level monks also gain Slow Fall, allowing them to use their reaction to reduce any falling damage by an amount equal to 5 times their monk level. Also, our damaging cantrips improve at this level, gaining an additional dice of damage. At 6th level, we continue our martial training, becoming 5th level of monk, gaining extra attack. Now we can make 2 attacks instead of 1 when taking the attack action. 5th level monks also gain Stunning Strike. When you hit an opponent with a melee attack, you can spend 1 key point to force them to make a Constitution save or become stunned until the end of the monk's next turn. The save DC for this and other monk abilities that allow a save is 8 plus the monk's wisdom and proficiency modifiers. Also, 5th level monks have their martial arts dice increased to a d6. At 7th level, we are becoming a powerful warrior of the clan and become 6th level of monk. 6th level monks gain key empowered strikes, causing their unarmed strikes to count as magical for the purposes of overcoming damage resistance. We also gain another elemental discipline. The only other fire discipline available to us lets us cast Burning Hands, and since we already have that from both being a cleric and a genasi, we don't need it again, so instead we are going to take Gong of the Summit, which lets us spend 3 key points to cast Shatter. The DC for this is our Monk save DC, and the Shatter is a pretty strong spell, but spending 3 key points is a high price, so choose it wisely when you use this.
At 8th level, we feel the power growing within us, and our meditations lead us to become a 2nd level cleric. As such, we gain the ability to channel divinity once for long or short rests. This allows us to turn undead, and the light domain lets us use Radiance of the Dawn, which banishes all darkness within 30 feet, and deals 2d10 plus our cleric level in damage to hostile creatures in that area, unless they make a constitution save to take half. Also, gaining cleric level allows us to pair one additional spell. Picking up Cure Wounds could be useful. At 9th level, we continue with our spiritual discipline, becoming a 3rd level cleric. We now have 4 1st level spell slots, and gain 2 2nd level spell slots and can prepare 2nd level spells. As with 1st level spells, we are favoring spells of protection, divination, and damage spells using radiance or fire. Augury and Spiritual Weapon would suit us well, and Prayer of Healing is an excellent spell for recovering our party after a battle. The light domain gives us the spells Flaming Spear and Scorching Ray always prepared. These are both powerful spells. Scorching Ray in particular is good for us, giving us a strong ranged attack. Flaming Spear has a similar effect to Spiritual Weapon. It deals slightly better damage and sets things on fire, but requires concentration. If you prefer Flaming Spear, then you won't need to prepare Spiritual Weapon, but having no concentration requirement might make Spiritual Weapon a superior spell. Since we now have 2nd level spell slots, we can also cast Flame Blade with them in addition to our 1 free casting. At 10th level, we continue our meditations, becoming a 4th level cleric. We learn another cantrip. Thaumaturgy can be fun and useful, or Spare the Dying can be handy in an emergency. We also gain a 3rd 2nd level spell slot. 4th level clerics gain an ability score improvement or feat, and we need to make our wisdom 18 to help both our casting and our monk abilities. It will also improve our unarmored defense. And at 11th level, we are mastering our connection to the mana and become a 5th level cleric. Our Turn Undead ability now destroys undead of up to 1/2 challenge rating, and we gain 2 3rd level spell slots and can prepare 3rd level spells. Some good options for a Jeskai are Clairvoyance, Mass Healing Word, Revivify, and Spirit Shroud, which can add a lot of damage considering you can make 3 or more attacks in a round. The light domain grants us spells Daylight and Fireball always prepared. Fireball is the classic area of effect damage spell and usually not available to clerics, so this is excellent for us and fits the flavor of our character. Our damaging cantrips gain another dice of damage here as well.
Yep. At 12th level, we have become confident in our spiritual pursuits and return to our martial training, becoming 7th level of monk. We gain evasion, which lets us take no damage when we make a dexterity save to take half damage from an effect, and if we fail to save, we only take half damage anyway. We also gain stillness of mind, letting us use an action to end an effect that is frightening or charming us. At 13th level, our monk training reaches its peak, and we become 8th level of monk, gaining the ability score improvement or a feat, and we need to improve our constitution to 16 to give us a little more survivability. We have a lot of ways to avoid damage and can often fight at range, but we are still a melee character and need a little more durability. At 14th level, we return to our pursuing our spiritual discipline, becoming 6th level of cleric. We can now channel divinity twice per short or long rest, and our warding flare improves so that we can now use it as a reaction when any creature within 30 feet is attacked, so we can now protect our allies as well. We also gain a third level spell slot. At 15th level, continuing our meditations, gaining us 7th level of cleric, we gain 1 4th level spell slot and can prepare 4th level spells. Some appropriate choices would be divination, banishment, and death ward. The light domain grants the spells Guardian the Faith and Wall of Fire always prepared. At 16th level, our ever-increasing connection to the mana causes us to become an 8th level of cleric. Our Turn Undead ability now destroys undead of up to challenge rating of 1. The light domain grants us potent spellcasting, allowing us to add our wisdom modifier to the damage we deal with any cleric cantrip. Sadly, Produce Flame is not a cleric cantrip as it was gained from being a Genasi, but this will work well with Sacred Flame and Word of Radiance. 8th level of clerics also gain an ability score improvement or a feat, and we're going to use it to cap our wisdom at 20 to strengthen our casting and monk abilities. We also gain another 4th level spell slot. At 17th level, we are becoming a spiritual leader among the Jeskai, revered both for our strength and our wisdom. We become a 9th level of cleric, gaining a 3rd 4th level spell slot and 1 5th level spell slot, and can prepare 5th level spells. Appropriate spells for the Jeskai would be Commune, Mass Cure Wounds, and Holy Weapon. The light domain gives us Flame Strike and Scrying always prepared, and our damaging cantrips improved one last time, gaining a 4th additional dice of damage.
At 18th level, we are surely now among the high-ranking clan leaders, and are consulted on all matters of importance to the clan. We've become a 10th level cleric. We learn another cantrip and can take anything you like. Toll the Dead doesn't suit a Jeskai because it's necromancy and the black mana or death fire is forbidden to the clan. We also get another 5th level spell slot. 10th level clerics also gain divine intervention, allowing you to call for supernatural aid. You then roll percentage dice, and if the roll is less than your cleric level, aid is granted. The DM decides what the aid is, but it should answer your request and can take the form of any cleric spell or domain spell. If this succeeds, you can't use it again for 7 days, but if it fails, you can try again after finishing a long rest. At 19th level, our power and wisdom are legendary. We are spoken of alongside the great heroes of legend. We become an 11th level cleric. Our Turn Undead ability now destroys undead of up to challenge rating 2. We gain a 6th level spell slot and can prepare 6th level spells. Choices fitting for the Jeskai would include Heal, True Seeing, Find the Path, and Blade Barrier. And finally, at 20th level, we have mastered ourselves and become the pinnacle of the Jeskai way. We have disciplined our mind, honed our body and spirit, and focused our passions. We are the one to lead our clan to victory. We become a 12th level cleric and gain our last ability score improvement on our feet, and we will cap our dexterity at 20. This makes our attacks as effective as possible and gives us an unarmored defense of 20 without magic. This seems to me to be the type of character that would represent a Jeskai warrior monk in the world of Tarkir. The abilities and spell choices reflect the clan's color identity and the Jeskai philosophy of combining strength with cunning. We hope Thiago Carvalho enjoys this build and it meets his expectations, and we hope you all enjoyed it as well and will join us next week when we do a build based around a Celestial Warlock. And until then, cheers!
Cheers!